What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to our podcast.
Hey, guys.
We are having a total blast this summer. We've been on the road a ton and just got back from basically like 2 months, a little over 2 months on the road straight, just kind of seeing the whole country, and it has been wild. And a lot of you guys have been asking, how in the world do you guys do that? Not just how do you travel, but how do you travel with kids? And so we brought some traveling experts with us today. Our daughters, our teen daughters. We're getting ready to take 2 of them to the airport today to fly back to Florida, speaking of traveling. And maybe, do you want to tell them what's going on with that? Or do we want to?
Oh, gosh. I haven't told anyone yet. I was planning to.
You guys are the first to hear.
So here's a little spoiler alert. I'm moving back to Nashville in 2 days.
It's crazy. So
We're all very excited about
finally.
that.
So Penelope's going back to help pack things up, and then I'll drive tomorrow morning to go take a trailer, get all the stuff back, and it's gonna be
We're very
crazy.
excited to have Reese back. I think
very
we've all
excited.
missed you dearly.
8 months. Welcome back.
8 months.
Yeah. 8 months.
Wow.
8 months on your own. And
Crazy.
how was your experience living on your own?
I loved it. I thought it was just great.
That's amazing.
I'm
As
so
you can
proud
tell,
of
I'm
you.
a little nervous.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
No
okay.
need to be nervous.
First time on a podcast.
You guys are
Yeah.
experts at communication, obviously, experts at traveling, experts at being big sisters in a humongous family because you've been doing it for a while. And we're going to learn from you guys today what you think. What's the real truth about traveling
Nice.
as a family of 9? Nice.
It's a little crazy. I like to call it organized chaos.
That's a really good, we should trademark that. Make it a shirt.
I heard it from someone else.
We could put it on a
Although I don't
hat.
think
Probably already trademarked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
I think
not.
it's a common phrase.
Maybe
but
so.
Would you guys say that that's kind of accurate of our family in general, but particularly with traveling, is kind of like organized chaos?
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
I feel like we're at our best when we're traveling. Like, we're just a traveling type family.
Yeah.
I
So,
agree. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I
like, when
agree.
we're in our routine and stuff, like, it's fine. But I think we really just thrive when we're traveling together.
I agree with that too. Because I think we all enjoy adventure and we all enjoy seeing new places, even if it is stressful sometimes to have to pack everything up and manage a family of 9 on the road. I think that just the benefits outweigh the challenges.
Yeah.
But having been on the road for 2 months at this point, I think we're all really
does
looking
get-
forward to settling back home. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really am. We keep saying that, I just can't wait to be in our own bed, and
That-
especially
Okay.
got some
Settling
actually-
in a home.
in a home.
I was going to say, that said, we're still in an RV right
yeah,
We
for a
need to
few
get
now, which
days.
is not the most fun thing, but
If you
we
guys
are.
know our story, we are actually building a house right now on some property, and it's going to be amazing, but it's taking its time.
Yeah.
And so we bought an RV because we thought that would be so fun to be able to live in it, for a while, and then be able to travel. And it got, Kira's saying the truth, it got old pretty quick.
Fairly quickly.
Really fast.
And so I think that was one of those things that we decided, like, we can learn from this, and it's a good experience to kind of show our kids, like, you can change your mind and say something doesn't work anymore, and that's okay. And so that's kind of what we've done with this, is just recognizing that an RV with a family of 9, it actually does work for some families. I've seen it work. But for our family long term, I feel like was just maybe not the best choice because it's a little too crowded.
It is. I will give one caveat. I think it could have been different in a different reality. Like if we were actually traveling with the RV,
Right.
seeing the world with the RV. This is a video about traveling. We did not choose to travel with the RV because we were living in it full time for so long, stationary, staring at the shell of a home that will never become.
It's getting there.
We were just ready to not be in the RV.
Yeah.
But that said, we have traveled in an RV before, and it was super fun
I think traveling
because
in it
we were
is
getting
fun.
the traveling aspect of it.
Yeah, but living in it full time when you're just at home. But also when we were first thinking about traveling in an RV, all of our kids homeschooled, and so that seemed like a little bit more doable.
It's a lot more tough.
But then it kind of as we got the RV, and then some of the kids decided they wanted to do public school again, and so the dynamic of it shifted, and it just didn't come together in the way that we kind of envisioned.
Yeah.
And so I would say there are a lot of great things that have come out of it. Like, I think that it's been fun in a lot of ways, you know.
I haven't been here for most of it.
That's the best part for
Reese
you.
moved out after a couple of months. I think, you know, there's a lot of reasons why, right? Because the RV was really not big enough for the whole family. We
Right.
were too crowded.
I will say another
But-
downside is that there's not a ton of privacy.
Right, privacy. That's
Yeah.
a big one.
But
The sharing
when we're
the bathrooms.
traveling, when we're traveling though, like we do get that privacy because we
Yeah.
have Airbnbs and wherever we're
Right.
staying.
Right.
Well, it depends, and we'll get to that too. But before we do, we didn't really introduce you guys like by name. So I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. I want to answer them immediately. Who's your daddy and what does he do? So, what's your name? What do you got? We'll start with Kira. I just gave away the answer for
Gave
you.
away the answer.
Spoiler.
Hi, I'm Kira.
How old are you?
I'm 16, and I don't really know what else to say about that.
It's our third oldest.
Enough said.
And then we have
My turn. Hi, I'm Penny, and I about turned 17 August 5th,
Yeah, you're close.
and I don't know what to say about it either.
second oldest daughter, Penelope Shawn.
I'm Reese. I'm 18 years old and I'm the oldest out of everyone. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Reese, and I like to party.
Oh my gosh.
I like to party too.
So now that you guys have that little introduction, we're going to dive into some questions. Everyone's asking, we actually do get this question a lot. I don't know if you get it as much in your DMs, but I get it a lot, particularly from dads, actually, which is kind of funny. Yeah. How do we travel? How do we prepare to travel? How do we pack? What do we make sure we're packing? How do you prep? Ahead of time, finding the places you're going to stay, booking those places, charting out your path, all of those things. There's
a lot that goes into it.
So to start, like this starts way ahead of time.
Yeah.
So like for us this summer, we were gone for 2 months. We literally went to, I would say 3/4 of the country.
Yes.
We saw 3/4 of the country this summer, which was really fun. That took a lot of planning on routes and where we're going to stay and things like that. Mm-hmm. I think a couple of the things that we have done ahead of time is that we are really we try to stay within the same hotel chains. So it makes it easy to build points. That helps you to get free nights, and that saves you a lot of money. It also gives you like preferential treatment a lot of the time whenever you stay at the same place.
And you know what to expect.
And you know what to expect. So a lot of the time we'll stay like Holiday Inn Express, and we'll do 2 rooms that have, 2 queen beds and a fold-out couch or something like that. That's how we fit a family of 9. We also bring a porta-crib to help our son sleep in whenever we are in a hotel for a situation like that.
His portable toddler bed.
Yeah, and so that gives him a sense of comfort, a sense of familiarity. If you're unfamiliar, our son Lincoln has special needs, and so having something that he's used to helps him to sleep in a setting like that. And so we have a little bit of a large kind of porta-crib type thing that he works really well in. And so that gives us each, even if it is sharing a bed, we talk about that privacy thing. On the hotel side of things, we already kind of know going into that, we're not going to necessarily have the privacy that we're used to, because as opposed to even the RV, where at least everybody has their own bed. In the hotel, you're going to have, probably 2 girls sharing a bed, 2 boys sharing a bed.
Yeah.
Mom and I will share a bed. And
but the thing that we do try to do is if it's going to be like one night here and there as we're traveling, we'll do a hotel. But if it's 2, 3, 4 nights, it's an extended period of time.
Yeah.
We generally opt for an Airbnb because you can usually get for the same price or maybe even less, maybe more.
Usually
affordable.
less for a lot more room.
Right. 3 or 4 bedrooms, multiple bathrooms. That works better for a large family. And so
Yeah.
we generally opt for the Airbnb. But if it's one night, usually that's more expensive because you've got all those fees and everything.
Yeah.
So that's why we'll gravitate towards the hotels if
Right.
we're on the road and we just need somewhere to crash for the evening before we keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So we try to stick with stuff we're familiar with. We can save a lot of money. We know we budget to buy groceries when we get to an Airbnb. We try to cook as much as we can rather than eating out every meal. So we kind of know what's going on with that. We know that we'll save on the cleaning fees and the administration fees and all that. You know, when you have multiple nights in an Airbnb, that really does add up. If you're trying to do single nights and you have a cleaning fee every night, you don't have that in a normal hotel. So we really like that. We like that there's free breakfast. We try to choose hotels that have free breakfast.
That really comes in handy
It
with a
does
lot
come
of
in
kids.
handy. Yeah. So those are just some things. So we're plotting out when we're creating our roadmap where we're going to stay, how far are we going to travel each day. So, you know, where's our stop off and where are we going to stay at this place on our way to somewhere. So for example, like we went to Northern California to see my dad in Santa Rosa, which is like a 36-hour drive. There's no way we were going to do that in one stop. We had a lot of stops along the way. But even when we were deciding to go down to Sedona, we took 2 nights so that it wasn't such a long stretch in one thing. And you just kind of got to know, what are your limits? What are your kids' limits?
Yeah. A lot of times if we're going to have a long day of travel, we'll the next day do a shorter day of travel so that it's not as fatiguing.
Yeah.
I will say our kids are excellent travelers. All of them. Even Lincoln's a pretty good traveler. He really likes his car seat, and if he's got snacks and a book, he's generally okay. But if it's getting to be a really long stretch, if it's one of those like 10-hour days, you got to stop and take some breaks and, you know, stretch your legs and that kind of thing. And then generally that's a good reset. If we can stop and have some lunch or that kind of thing, then we can kind of get back in and everybody's feeling good again.
Yeah. That said, we plan that months out. Generally speaking, we started planning this summer in like February, I
Yeah,
think.
because we knew it was going to be a big trip. A lot of times
Yeah.
it's not that far out. But
Because
this
you
was a
want to
big
make
one.
sure that I'm a little bit of a snob. I like to take photos of our Airbnbs. We have a travel account on Instagram. It's called Wonderwild Travel. I want to, and in many cases for us, we actually trade the photos for the stay, which is great. If you have a beautiful Airbnb, just reach out. We'd love to come. But, you know, a lot of those get booked out really far in advance.
Yeah.
But I would say that we all benefit from that whenever we find a really cool Airbnb. It's just more of an enjoyable stay.
Yeah, I was going to ask the girls, do you prefer the hotel stays or the Airbnb stays?
Definitely the Airbnbs.
Yeah.
That's like, it feels like there's some sort of routine outside of your normal routine.
Yeah.
Because you can have your own bed usually, or at least a private room. You get to cook. You get to usually have like a yard or something. And that's,
Yeah.
You don't have a
The
ton
buying
of,
the groceries and getting to cook and feeling kind of like you're in a home setting
Yeah.
makes a difference.
like hotels are nice because you have like the pool and stuff. But
Yeah,
usually for longer stays, it's just nicer.
it definitely is. Yeah.
And we're saying Airbnb as sort of, it's like whenever you say, I want a Coke. Okay, what kind? Dr. Pepper. Like, it's sort of that idea that you're like, you know, someone is leasing out their house to you. But you could be talking about VRBO. You could be talking about a bunch of different, if you're unfamiliar, just want to clarify that we don't always stay in an Airbnb. Sometimes it's a VRBO. Sometimes it's a independent website that they're booking out their place. But we always try to find those cool, unique spots that make our trip all the more fun. And that does take a lot of planning
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Especially because you, like, if you're doing a trip with your family, you want to make it something that's really memorable and special. And a lot of times where you stay adds a lot to that, even if that's not the whole thing. Because a lot of times we're going to actually do things and meet up with people, but where you stay and the vibe, the overall vibe can add a lot to that experience.
Yeah. So packing for this, like the way we do this packing has shifted over the years as our kids have gotten older.
Yep.
How do you guys, like, I would say we've got a couple compartments here on this question. Like, how do we pack? Do you pack yourself? Does mom pack you? All of you guys would be like, mom pack me, what? But what are those things that you have to have in your bag that you take on the road with you?
I'll jump in real quickly and just say, when the kids were younger, I obviously packed all of them, but we have so many teenagers right now that most of them do their own packing. But I will usually go through and just kind of double check with them and say, okay, did you remember a swimsuit? Did you remember your toothbrush? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But our teens generally pack themselves, and then it's just the younger kids.
With the boys, it's like, do you have deodorant?
Did you pack underwear? Did you pack socks?
Do you have 17 pairs of socks?
A lot of times the
10
toothbrush is forgotten. So I do have to do some more oversight with the younger ones, but the girls are pretty self-sufficient. So.
I appreciate mom's help though, because I get really stressed out, especially if it's a long trip. Like I will get really stressed out. I'm like, Mom, I need you to come help me.
So, like, I don't want to anything.
I have watched, and I'm very appreciative of it, like seeing you girls come to Mom even and say, hey, what do you think of this outfit? Should I bring this? Should I do? So Mom's still been very involved along the way. No one really helps me. I'm totally self-sufficient.
Stephen is
Dad waits.
He's really, what's the word I'm looking for? He's very key when it comes to planning out, like, the stops and where we're going to stay and how we get there. And then some of the more behind the scenes stuff like packing and getting organized and making sure that we were all able to kind of function in a cohesive manner is kind of more so.
Yeah, we work together really well.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's part of the whole being opposites and complementing each other.
Yeah.
That comes in handy, especially with things like traveling. So I do think that, like Reese said, we really do travel well. I think sometimes even more than just when you're at home and you're kind of like doing the exact same thing every single day, and then people are getting kind of restless and it's like, what are we doing today?
Yeah.
I think with traveling, we've kind of found our groove.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we have traveled so much this summer that we definitely are ready to settle in at home. So
I think, sorry.
No, it's okay. You can go first.
I just think that something that is helpful is that we drive and we don't fly. And I feel like flying with the whole family is a lot more of a stressful experience.
It is more stressful.
Because you have more control when you're driving. We get to stop when we want. We can get food if we need to use the restroom. Like, it's just easier.
Well, I'll say if it's the whole family driving.
Yeah, when you and I fly.
If it's like a smaller sort of core group of people who are very self-capable,
or older kids.
I would much prefer to fly. And we have the flying down to a science. Like we take a carry-on, we don't check anything. We have the apps. We're pretty pro at flying too.
I think just because of the sheer amount of travel that we've done, that's kind of helped us to kind of refine our technique to where we do kind of know what to plan for and what to look out for. That's really helped, because I would say it was probably a lot more stressful in the earlier days. Of course, our kids were younger than 2. We still have some young kids, but I would say when the kids were younger and we hadn't traveled a whole lot, we felt more anxious.
Yeah.
And now that we kind of know what works and what to look out for, it goes smoother.
And to be fair, like we never really traveled. Like I didn't really go anywhere until I was like 30, other than like driving for like gigs with the band,
right, on the road.
Which we did a ton. And I would say that's probably partially why we're so good with driving, because our kids will be like, oh, it's just an 8-hour drive. Cool. Just an 8-hour drive.
That was me. When I first moved to Florida, they were in Atlanta and I was like, I really am homesick. So I was like, it's only 8 hours. I'll just drive up.
Because you guys were used to, when you were younger, we would drive 16-hour days.
And I loved that.
All the time.
Also, another pro is that you can like kind of spread out in a car.
Yeah.
You can't really do that in a on a plane. And also there's so many strangers. It's just
you're never next to someone you don't know.
Also, strangers don't generally mind like the fact that there are other people next to them. I have so many stories of me sitting next to people where I'm like trying to sit like as close as I can and they're like
spread out.
Okay, but there's a sign. There's a trick to that.
I woke up from a nap and a guy literally sitting next to me had his elbow so far in my rib cage that I was like, I cannot breathe right now.
Yeah.
See, the time to do that's as people are coming onto the airplane, you want to appear as large as you possibly can, so that no one wants to sit next to you, right?
One flight,
like you just every trick you can.
Yeah, one flight I had the guy sitting behind me, he put his bare feet up on my like armrest. I had him right next to me, and I was just like,
Wow.
When was this?
Dude.
This was
Like, you could just
Colorado
tell me
a
to
few years
move.
back.
Oh my gosh.
I would
You know
definitely say
what?
something.
I was like 12 years old. I was just like,
yeah.
I don't know what to say. Like,
Oh,
this
man.
man.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Okay, well, we've got down how we do the packing and how we do all that. What's one thing you cannot live without that you have to make sure you have packed? Outside of deodorant, outside of toothpaste and toothbrushes and all that kind of stuff.
Headphones.
Headphones.
Penny said headphones.
Definitely.
Headphones is a
Definitely
big one.
headphones. See, I don't really think that I have to have one certain thing because I'm the type of person that literally packs my entire house in a suitcase. I will not leave anything behind. Ever.
That's where mom comes in handy.
I
though.
don't ever get like nervous about forgetting something because there's nothing to forget.
You
Like
have
my
everything
room
you
is
need.
completely like gone by the time that my suitcase is packed up.
It's so
That's
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Penelope really likes the headphones. So y'all guys listen to music a lot in the car, don't you?
I do. I think it's just like when you're like on a road trip, like you listen to music. It's just kind of like make you calm, like you feel like you're the only one right there.
Yeah.
So like that's pretty like fun.
Yeah.
Definitely helps you to stay calm, especially if the boys are being loud or rough housing. We've had actually some rough housing going on in the car lately. We're like, I think as the kids get older too, you know, and like they're not all in car seats.
Right.
And they're getting a little squirrely in the back, and we have to be like, hey.
The boys are at that stage where they
Yeah.
just love to roughhouse.
Yeah. It's kind of different than it has been. Like that dynamic has definitely shifted.
Yeah, for sure.
Because for a long time, I used to say our boys were quieter than our girls.
They used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely used to be.
No way, that's not
They
true.
were more active.
The boys used to be
But
quieter
they're
than
not-
you
They
girls.
were quieter, but I don't think they're
But once
quieter
you girls
anymore.
got your headphones, y'all went super quiet.
See though that
Yeah, it depends on, because we were making up like a 45-minute song about
You
shrimp.
did make a
About a
very long
shrimp
song.
guy.
We
Yeah.
talk. How did we even get on that?
I don't know. It was because I was singing the TLC song "No Scrub."
Yeah,
You like
that's
to
right.
say,
And
yeah.
then we got this from our dad, actually. Our dad makes up the most random things ever. Like, he'll make up
do.
a song about, like, I don't know, a hot dog that likes to dance or something just out of nowhere. And so we were driving and we made up a song
Oh man.
called No Scrumps, which is the weirdest thing ever. But
It was a long.
I'm actually so
long,
embarrassed thinking
Yeah,
about
it was
this,
like
though, but it was
30-minute
about a guy that
episode.
loves shrimp more than anything.
Yeah.
It was. I actually put my headphones in
He
eventually.
was like, I cannot take this
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, and this is as we
Well,
drove down Highway 1. You have
There
these
was no
gorgeous-
reception. Yeah.
Gorgeous scenes. Yeah, there was no reception. So the music stopped, and I think we were listening to a podcast or something. So we had to turn that off because it was not loading. And so
Yeah.
then the girls just start making up songs. And
The most random.
It was the
Yeah.
It wasn't
best.
songs. It was a song.
It was
about
one
shrimp.
song,
a long
Yeah.
song.
a
one
very
song.
long song, and it
was
was
like-
amazing.
A scrump is a guy who likes shrimp. It was so bad.
It was
But
funny.
I would say that noise canceling headphones are like my lifesaver
Yeah.
whenever I'm in the car because the boys get so loud
Yeah.
and I'm like, Lincoln is screaming. Okay, now
Yeah.
I can't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It's just perfect in my opinion.
That's awesome. And when she's saying Lincoln screaming, it's generally like
Happy screams.
or singing at the top of his lungs to music. Occasionally, he'll get fussy if we've been in the
Sometimes,
car for a long time
yeah.
and we're trying to get to that gas station or something.
If he's dropped his chips or his
Which
book.
happens
Yes.
a lot.
dropping
Yeah.
the chips or actually yesterday he dropped an entire bag of popcorn on
did.
the floor, so that was no fun.
And then he dropped his chips over the bag of popcorn.
Yeah, and then we slid the door open at the gas station and it all just like fell out.
Yeah.
Like we are that family.
Yeah, I was sort of like, okay, well, that's
Yeah.
life right now. But, it was the last day of our traveling. So
Yeah.
that was sort of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
for me, I think the thing that I cannot do without is my fan.
Yeah.
And I have this little fan. I bought it on Amazon. It fits, it slides. It's this thin. If you can see this on YouTube, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, if you can't see it, it's basically like the size of two of my hands, like very thin, and it slides into my backpack. And it's awesome because it's just a USB fan. So even if, it's just great. So I have the fan because one simply cannot sleep without a fan.
Yeah, he
I
cannot
need it.
for sure.
I need it. And it's just so handy.
I think both the combination of the sound and something blowing on your face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the air circulation. I would have said that the headphones thing was something that I couldn't do without maybe a year ago. But something that we've been talking about for a little while now is really trying to be present with each other in the front, and you and I like using that time to listen to the same things and talk about the same things, and
Really connect, yeah.
So I've tried to not check out, although I do love a good audiobook.
I was going to say audiobooks and music are the things that I feel like we have to have to make the drive go smooth.
Yeah.
Because anytime, if it is getting kind of restless or whatever, if we put on an audiobook or we put on music, that just tends to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
And especially with the audiobooks, if we're listening to, if it's Harry Potter or something like that,
Yeah.
the kids will beg for you to put that on.
No, it's great.
It.
Yeah.
So.
We love Audible. If you guys, this is not a paid thing. We just love Audible. Like I have my one credit that I without fail use every month, and I always buy like the 3 credit bundle to get another few. Like tomorrow I'll be going to Florida, and I'm probably going to go through at least 2 books the next 2 days listening. I love it. Whether it's fiction or not, we just listened to, or we didn't listen to it in the car, I'll tell you that, Where the Crawdads Sing. And
yeah, that was in a
it's
family.
so good, man. But, we do a lot of
your headphones, though.
Yeah. So one of the questions is, how do you pass the time when
Right.
you're driving? And I think that kind of
That's a big one.
comes back to that. Like,
Although Ethan asked the other day, for a while there, we were listening to lore for quite a while.
yeah, the
And
Lore podcast is so good.
Ethan was like, "Can you put on that show Lore again?" he really likes those kind of mystery
It's
stories.
great. And we were driving, and it was so dark, and it was like real foggy outside, and
Yeah,
think
we
that's
had
why
like
he
a
asked.
cliff
it was
next
so
to
creepy
us.
and so great.
It was the last part. We were driving down Highway 1, trying to make it down to LA from
Yeah.
up from Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
And it was starting to get dark, and it was kind of foggy. And I think that's why
Yeah.
it popped into his head. He's like, let's listen to Lore.
I think, though, it like goes back to one of our trips a couple years ago that we took to Colorado, and Reese really wanted to check out this hotel. It's the
Yeah.
Stanley Hotel
Where The
in
Shining
Estes
is.
Park, and it's where The Shining was like inspired, and they even filmed the TV version of The Shining there. But we all listened to the episode about the Stanley Hotel there, and it was so fun. And so we just kind of have these like nostalgic memories of that podcast from that season.
Yeah, that was on one of our YouTube videos, too. We did a whole video there. We were listening to Lore, and then we went to the hotel, and we got to walk around and tour it. And
Yeah,
that was really fun.
yeah.
I wanted to ask, and I think this was one of the questions too, is what was everyone's favorite destination or thing that we did this summer?
Go to the Chinatown.
Chinatown
San
in San
Fran?
Fran.
Yeah, in San Fran.
That was so fun. That was really special for you, Penny, wasn't it? Because
That was really fun.
what did you think of that versus China? Was it really similar to actually being in China?
Well, because when we go in there, it's kind of basically like it's really hard to find a parking lot. So like we
Yeah.
take like
Yeah.
20 minutes to try and find one.
The parking was a
think it was
Yeah.
challenge.
It was like an hour.
It was like an hour.
It was
We
like
drove
an
around
hour.
for a while.
It definitely took like an hour to find a
Wait,
spot.
for real?
I was
Yeah.
thinking it was more like 20 minutes
I
too.
thought it was
No.
20 minutes.
No,
Oh.
because we got
No,
there.
I listened to a whole podcast while
Yeah.
we were trying to find
Yeah.
parking.
We got there, and all the spots in Chinatown in San Francisco were like you couldn't park in them until 6 p.m.
And it was like 5:15.
But we got there at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And then when we parked, we were able to park.
By the time we found a parking spot, it was 6 o'clock. So
We
it was
just
fine.
drove around for an hour looking for a spot, and then it was it's 6 o'clock. I guess we can take one of these 1,000 spots that can only be parked in after 6 p.m.
Yeah. But what was one of your favorite parts of Chinatown?
I'll be say the restaurant.
The hot
restaurant?
pot.
The hot pot
That
is
was
my
fun.
first time to try hot pot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hot pot was really good.
It was.
It was all of our first time.
I know.
And what did you order to put in the hot pot?
I think you ordered dumpling.
Dumplings. Yeah, we put
Yeah,
dumplings
and
in there.
I don't know. I don't remember what I ordered, but like
Did tripe.
I love it.
Tripe,
tripe,
which is
yeah.
like intestines.
Yeah.
Like beef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
and
don't
some
know. I mean, no, like it's not like it's gross. Like it's,
Yeah, it
Kids
was
liked
kind of
it.
gross.
it was
Give it
really
a different
good.
name and I'll eat it.
If you guys have ever, well, that's why it's
yeah.
called tripe. Yeah. But like, if you guys have ever done hot pot, it's like they bring you out this pot and it's hot, like
Wow.
with
Like a hot pot
with
stand.
like broth, and there will be one side that's broth with some different seasonings and things like that, and then there's one that's like hot, like spicy hot. So you have it look kind of looks like a yin yang a little bit, but it's got the hot and the not spicy, the spicy and the not spicy in one pot, and then you just cook your meat
And veggies.
and veggies and like dumplings and the whole thing in the pot at the table.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I think we were saying we wanted to get one for you to do
We
for your
are.
birthday this year, right?
That would be fun.
Yeah, because
Do a hot pot
her
at home.
17th birthday is next week.
I know. I turned
crazy.
17.
So we're gonna do a like a homemade. We're gonna buy a hot pot, do the hot pot at home,
But that's
invite some
fun that
friends
we
over,
We're
do some
able to
hot
do that
pot.
together for the first time and experience
Yeah.
that, and then be like, oh, this is something we like so much we want to buy it and be able to make it at home too.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
We should definitely buy a duck.
A duck.
Oh,
A duck.
And
yeah.
cook it.
What
Peking
else
duck.
floats in water?
Yeah.
I love that
We-
all of us just went a duck at the same time.
Well, we did have duck in Beijing. Remember? We ate
Peking
it on
duck,
our-
yeah.
Well,
That
like,
was
you know,
really good.
It was really
so
good.
good.
Like crispy and
Yes, that was one of my favorite things that I ate there. It was so good.
it was really good. We could do that for your birthday too. That'd
well,
be
you know
special.
what's the funny thing about like in America, like duckies like super cute, like it's like could be like a pack too.
Yeah.
But like normal, like in China, this is like
It's just food.
it's just a food. And then every single time when I see a duck and I say, hey, look, it's dinner, and then everyone look at me like, no, don't say that. I know.
To Americans, it's like saying
Not
that to
all the
cat,
time,
you know.
Though. Every single time we see a duck, I'm like, oh, it's a duck, so cute. And she goes, okay, it's dinner. And I'm like, why would you say that, Penny?
That's
yeah, 'cause
so
they're
funny.
not pets in China. They are just
Yeah,
food.
they're just
so.
food. That's so funny. Reese, what was your favorite part of the trip?
I loved all of it. I mean, I think California was definitely a big highlight.
Yeah.
And then Disney was really fun.
I forgot.
yeah.
That feels like
I know
so
that
long
too.
ago.
Yeah.
I actually,
that was the beginning of the summer.
Oh man.
I really loved Asheville. We got to go to Biltmore with Dee
Yeah.
Dee, and like, I went to Biltmore for my 18th birthday with mom and dad, but the rest of the kids had not gone. So to get to experience that again with them was really cool. And
Oh,
during
in the
day,
daytime, yeah.
yeah,
It was a different
and
vibe.
it was not nearly as crowded.
Yeah.
Right. It
Yeah.
really
So-
wasn't crowded at all. I think because we went like right when they had opened like the
The Christmas.
display
Yeah.
for your birthday. That's why.
Oh my gosh, though. I totally forgot about the kid that accidentally broke the washing machine at
Yeah.
Biltmore.
Oh
yeah.
And then his parents took him and ran, and they were like, "We're trying to find him. Like, let us know if you
There
see
was
him."
there was some
Yeah.
juicy drama.
I
It
missed
was
that
nice.
part.
yeah, at
I
Biltmore.
I had
Juicy,
to.
though.
There were parts of Biltmore that weren't like really handicap accessible, so
the
I
basement. Yeah.
I took
Yeah.
Lincoln out to the front while you guys finished.
That's
the
why I
tour.
was like, "Oh, was it Dad?"
Was
and
it
Lincoln?
You
Dad?
thought it was me.
I'm thinking
What
like that
happened?
might be something.
This
we
is
do.
seriously
Never.
something
Lincoln
Dad
would
would
that,
do.
and Dad would just take him and run.
that is really
Yeah.
sad though, like because
really
it was
sad.
there was actually it was
Yeah.
some sort of very old. Was like a very large leather
Yeah.
contraption.
Washing
I don't
machine.
know.
Yeah.
Was it the
yeah,
washing
it was
machine?
the washing machine.
Wow.
Mhm. It's
Which is like an
historic, though.
old washing. It's not like the kinds
Yeah.
of washing machines you guys would picture
Yeah.
today. It's like,
It's like a tub with a leather strap that spins it around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it washes your clothes.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Apparently
all
a small
all
child
the,
reached out and grabbed the leather strap and then it broke.
Man.
So that
all
was
the
really sad.
employees came in and they were talking about it. I was like, "Ooh, I get to kind of be in on this."
Yeah, we were passing by as that was. We didn't see it happen, but as the employees were talking about it.
Yeah.
But Biltmore in general was amazing.
was
Yeah.
With the
gorgeous.
family.
And the Airbnb we stayed in was really cool.
it
And
was
It
gorgeous.
was cool.
I love
Yeah.
that Airbnb.
the fact that Gigi and Papa got to be there with us, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was just fun.
that was really fun.
Yeah.
such
and
a beautiful
I would say
place
Disney
there.
too, because you said Disney.
Mhm.
We were gonna say like our favorite thing and maybe our least favorite thing. I don't think there was anything that was my least favorite except for I would say the humidity in Florida. Like as we were walking
Yeah.
around, I felt like I sweat more than I'd ever sweat in my entire life. That was hard.
And that got really real when we got to the West Coast. And, we hear and everyone tells us all this. It's a dry heat. It's not that bad, and it's 113 degrees outside. And you're like, it feels like 75 degrees right
I
now,
love
you know.
it.
It was
It wasn't-
great.
It's remarkable the difference when it's humid and it's not. Like
Yeah.
it was more hot.
Yeah.
When we were in Utah and
Far
Nevada
hot,
and
like
back-
literally 115
but
degrees
it
in Las
felt
Vegas.
so much more tolerable.
It was awesome.
We really, it didn't feel like you were overheating. It didn't feel like you're about to have a heat
Yeah.
stroke. Whereas,
But it makes sense why all the people who have made their move from California to Nashville or Austin are like, oh, it's so hot.
right,
And it's like, dude,
feels
because we
amazing
moved
there.
here from Texas,
right,
and it's considerably hotter in Texas, and I would say more humid in Texas.
You're like, ooh, come
But when you come from a place that's really relatively low humidity, if not no
right.
humidity,
like California.
it just feels insane.
Yeah.
Even to be 90 degrees outside, it feels nuts. So that was honestly my favorite part of the summer was not being hot
Yeah,
for like the last month. And that's like, obviously, I mean, I'm a weather guy. Like, I really hate the heat. I
You're a
love
weather guy.
Whoa.
You're going to see a gust of wind blowing in from the east.
Well, and one other thing that I think was a highlight, we went and took family photos in the redwoods.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great. Well, I was
Dad's
thinking,
still laughing at
I'm
his own
talking about the weather. 'cause
I'm laughing at your joke.
My
You're
joke?
a weatherman? Sorry.
well, it came to mind because I was thinking about how foggy and misty
It was cool.
taking photos in the redwoods, but it was super foggy, and it was
And
like
there
just
was
the
no one
coolest
there.
Vibes.
It was just us.
It was gorgeous. It was so cool.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. We had kind of like the full spectrum this summer. We got to
Yeah.
go to the beach. We got to go to Northern California where there's the big redwoods. We got to
Yeah.
go to Utah and Nevada, and we got to do all the mountain stuff. It was just really amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it was really the perfect way to spend the summer when we didn't have the home. We
Yeah.
didn't want to be in the RV all summer. And so this was, I think, really a special way for us to all
Yeah.
make
That
some memories.
truly is my favorite part of the summer. Was just getting to be with all you guys and get to
Aw.
make. I mean that. Like, I'm not saying it for the podcast. Like, this is real. Like, I really do mean it because, like, you moved out in January. That was.
Oh, you're gonna cry.
Sorry.
I'm moving back in 2 days.
No,
Dad.
I know, but I just mean like it
back.
gets real because you're like, dude, I don't have. Sorry, I'm like choking up. This is not good for a podcast.
That's good.
Yeah, get it
I
together,
don't-
Dad. Get it together. Come on.
I don't have.
like
I
the
feel like
drama.
I don't have like as many years of
Yeah.
getting to do things like this. So it sort of felt to me like the clock's ticking a little bit. Like, if we don't do it this summer, when will we do it? So I was really, really grateful for 2 months straight of just getting to go see the world with you guys. And even with the long car rides and all that, like going to Lake Tahoe for the first time and like,
Yeah, that was amazing.
going to all these beautiful places we got to go together. Like a lot of me getting to experience a lot of my firsts with you guys getting to experience your first at the same time, which was really cool. And so I for me, doing a podcast like this where we talk about travel is like, it's just saying like, we're passionate about making memories together.
Yeah.
And, we're passionate about creating experiences that last, because you can buy souvenirs, but that thing is probably going to get lost at some point or break or whatever. You never lose memories. I mean, I guess you can, but like,
That's why you take lots of pictures too.
take lots of pictures, take videos. I mean, that's one of the coolest parts about vlogging is like we have like video proof
Yeah.
of all the
kids-
cool stuff we
yeah,
did.
and the kids love to be able to look back and see that. And I think I love it just as much, maybe even more, because I get to remember all of these really special moments with you kids, and
Yeah.
especially because y'all are growing up so fast. And Dad always talks about this. In just a few years, you guys are all going to be in your 20s. And that's
Yeah,
I-
but
I
don't worry,
hate that
I'm
he
never
says
moving
that. I don't
out.
want him to remind me because I'm like, no, I want our kids to all stay
They're gonna be
this
young
age
forever.
and never move out.
Oh yeah, well I'm
All-
never moving out.
Okay, well then that's good. Actually,
Don't
Ethan,
worry, Dad. I'm staying with you forever. I
Ethan
will take
says
the
that.
basement.
Yeah. Ethan says that too when I say, you guys are going to move out, you're going to grow up. And he's like, I'll just buy a house next to you.
I will buy you guys a house in the future.
Yeah.
Aww.
Buy you a really cool house.
Well, I'm really hoping that this house that we're building will finally be finished and we can just have this be the place that we all, you know.
I'm going to get married on that property.
I want you to get married on that property.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah, you got
Unless Chris Evans can
Takes me up on my own. Yeah.
So I think, you know, a lot of people ask the question, like, how do you afford to do all this? And, you know, we weren't always able to do it the way that we can now. And a lot of what we do now is because we are sort of bartering like goods for, you know, for trade. Like I'm like doing some photos and, you know, we do have our YouTube and we, you know, whatever. So that affords us the ability to do some things that maybe we weren't able to do before. But even before we were really making money, we've always prioritized trying to build memories over having stuff.
Yes.
You know, because literally whatever you buy today is going to be in a garage sale next week. I mean, maybe not literally, but it's not that big of a stretch.
Yeah.
You'll never regret taking your time to prioritize making memories together. Yeah. So we've always tried to save up and do things like this for the last, you know, almost decade, and find ways to get creative about being able to do things like this together, even if it's not like we go some extravagant place, just trying to find things to do where we can travel together. And I think that's been a really fun part of our DNA as a family. So I would encourage you guys, you know, stuff comes and goes, memories don't.
Yep.
Like, I think that's a big part of it. It seems like Penny wants to say something right now.
And I just try to say, like, I feel like if you're like still young enough, like you still with your parent, I feel like you should spend more time to like hang out with your parent or your family, because like you probably feel like, oh, why do you have to do that? Because but like when you get older and then you like move out, you have your own thing to do, like you have to work for your own. And I think like when you get older, your big regret is like, oh, why should I not like hang out with my parent, like spend more time with them when I was like young?
Yeah.
And then like you wish that could be happen, but you don't have any more time to like spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I think like how old you are, and I think you should like kind of spend more time with your parent, because like you probably thought like your parents annoying, but like when you get no, I'm trying to say like when you're getting older, like you wish that noise still here around you. Like you want to hear it.
Wish they were still being annoying around you.
No, I mean,
Your parents are probably annoying, but when you're older, you're gonna wish they were annoying around you again.
well, you wish like they telling you stuff, because you don't want to like you never cannot hear that like they telling you any stuff, like you want to hear that.
Yeah.
So like that's why I just say like if you don't want to have any regret, even right now you probably don't think that could be a regret thing, but like I think
as you get older, you realize the importance of family.
Yeah.
I think as we get older and as you kids get older, we're realizing the same thing, just how important it is to prioritize spending time together.
Yeah.
That's really a really good point.
true.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. I've got your money in the car.
Thank you.
He didn't tell her to say that.
I didn't tell her to say that. That's fine. Well, I think that's a good segue into our Beautiful People segment before we close out this podcast. I almost said this vlog. Very different. This week's Beautiful People segment is about a father who went out of his way to make sure his kids had a magical childhood growing up. This father would take his kids to the beach to go seashell hunting. Seashell is such a hard word to say. Have you thought? Seashell hunting when they were growing up. And when his daughter was 32 years old, he revealed his secret to her. Before going seashell hunting, he would stop at the souvenir shop and purchase beautiful shells to sprinkle around the beach for them to find. He now does this for his grandkids, and his daughter still finds it's magical watching them find the beautiful and colorful, perfect shells on the beach and light up with joy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty fun.
Really sweet.
And,
I was tearing up watching the video. You guys can check that out. We'll have it linked. But it was really sweet. His grandkids just so excited to see these beautiful shells on the beach, and they're like, "Look what I found!" Like, how cool is that?
That's
he just
pretty
wants
brilliant.
To make it so special for them.
Pretty brilliant.
I love that
it.
idea. Maybe we'll do that next time we. Go
Maybe
to the
we
beach.
will. You know, Ethan like gets so excited when he finds a
He
good
does.
shell on the beach.
Yeah, he has a collection.
So that's pretty awesome. So we'll link that in the show notes. We'd love for you guys to check that out. But if you guys are not already subscribed to our podcast, we would love for you to do that. Whether you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to The Family Made. We've got a lot of other cool, Shawn and Andrew with their Couple Things podcast is on here as well, obviously. And we've got some more coming down the pike. So make sure you subscribe there, or on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would love for you to do that. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up here on the What's Up Beautiful People podcast. We cannot wait for you guys to come back next week for another episode. But girls,
Thank
y'all
you for
have
being
been
on.
such cool guests
for
to have
having
on our
us.
show. We were talking about this. We've been talking about this for a while, like wanting to have each of the kids on, and we got to do 3 all at the same time. That's super fun.
Nice.
Even if we did have to share a mic, it worked. So
Last
Cheers.
time I want to say,
okay.
the airport happening, all this stuff, I wish that's not going to be happening to me today.
The airport stuff.
Oh,
The
gosh, yeah.
airport.
Yeah.
Don't,
You'll
don't
be
sit
great.
next to a man.
Yeah, we got to go to the air. We got to go to the airport to drop them off to
Yeah,
get ready
because
to.
Kira went with Reese earlier in the summer, and so now it's Penny's turn to go with Reese on one last trip before she moves home.
But we only have to fly the way there. We get to drive the way back.
That's
You know,
true.
you need to buy
It's
me a
true.
milk tea.
And go get
Because
some milk.
you need to spend more time with me, too.
Yeah. How about you buy me milk tea?
How about you buy me?
How
How
about
about you guys both buy me milk tea and then drive it all the way to
You
Nashville?
did not even buy me
Oh
either.
my gosh, these girls are obsessed with milk tea. So
right.
funny. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
See you next time.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.
Let's
What is that?